Hi, and welcome back to Krishnamurti Saved My Life. I was asked whether I still listen to Krishnamurti, and no, I don't. The short answer is no. Obviously, if something comes up or somebody links me in something, I'll watch it. So I don't avoid watching Jiddu Krishnamurti if something comes up, but as soon as you understand, it's so simple. So I started looking at what he's doing, and he's pouring his heart out to every single person there. And he says the most profound thing that could actually change your life right now. And he's looking into your eyes, expecting you to just understand, like you see that he sees it's not working. So that every time it broke my heart. So it's hard for me to watch. I love when I see his eyes just glisten with joy when he's saying this, trying to not save your life. Yeah, basically. He's trying to change your life completely. And it hits a brick wall. So I just thought to myself, what more can you do than Krishnamurti did? And apparently it didn't work in his lifetime. It's fascinating how he describes it. I'm amazed at how well he does it. But I wouldn't listen to him for entertainment purposes anymore. I remember sort of feeling a little bit sad about it. And I think I went I wonder who I'm going to listen to now. But that was soon dismissed. And then I just went out into the world and I didn't really spend much time at home anymore. My life changed so much. So basically most of my memories are sort of hazy because as soon as I lived in the present moment, there was no labeling. There's no defining. You just live. So all my realizations were pretty much backwards. So I was living this present state of mind for, I don't know how long it was. It seemed like a while before I even went online, because it's not something that comes to mind in the present moment. It's something that's away from you. I never really asked myself, do you understand? So I was still listening to Krishnamurti, and then I heard people ask questions. And then I answered the question. I didn't think it was a big deal. It's pretty simple. Everybody can see this. When Jiddu Krishnamurti answered, it was always sort of similar. I sort of answered in my own words, but it didn't really make any difference to me. This was sort of the problem. I kept going all I can see is my own life. And this is why I just went I'm just going to live this life and see what happens. So I sort of understood that I'm going to say this differently. So I made a point of not listening to Jiddu Krishnamurti anymore because, I don't know, I just didn't want to say the same, because what's the point in me saying exactly the same as him? The whole point is that I can talk about the same in different words. So something new, something fresh. There has to be one good thing about the AI, because usually when I record something, apparently the AI is listening and then suggests a video that speaks about something that's the same. So that's when I completely understood that without a shadow of a doubt, this is the same, we're talking about the same. I was sitting alone in my room. He did it 1,000,000 times over his life. It never occurred to me that nobody understood it. I was actually going online because I was trying to find the people that understood. And by failing to find people, I realized there was this long period where I sort of understood, but I didn't actually accept it to be the truth. Because if I look at Krishnamurti and what he's doing, it's very obvious to me what he was trying to do. He was trying to accomplish world peace. And as soon as you understand the truth, you can see how this is possible. As soon as you find peace in your own life, you become super peaceful. It's a very, very subtle change. People won't be able to see the peaceful nature from the outside, but your world changes because you don't try to control, you don't try to get involved, you let things happen. This peaceful nature is something that's sort of hard to explain. It's as soon as you experience it, you understand. As soon as your ego dies, you no longer need to control. You no longer try to understand the situation. You just watch what's going on. and you observe and you let things happen. So if I watch a child step on something that's super slippy and try to balance on it, for instance, from the perspective of this peaceful nature, so I'm observing nature evolve. It's like you see the world on a grander scale. So if I tell the child, please don't do that, you're gonna fall, I'm taking away the learning opportunity. So yeah, the child's gonna fall, but in the grand scheme of things, the child is learning a lesson. And once you understand the truth to life, it's sort of like everything is building up to you finding the truth to your life. So it's super aggressive, it's violent, it's completely not peaceful to go out there and tell people about it. You can see other people in your life trying to slowly, naturally find this truth to their life. Me intervening and saying earlier, before you naturally find the truth, is aggressive, it's violent, it's I have no business telling you what to do. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly what the truth to your life is. Me pointing it out to you is violent. So it's unnatural to go out and tell other people about it. And one has to also add that Krishnamurti already did it. This is a tried and proven method. The only reason I know is because it worked in my life. So there was this conflict between what I can see in this world. So I can see people would be able to find this truth to their own life. But then I saw what Krishnamurti was doing, and he spent his whole life trying to show other people. So I sort of needed to get away because there's a bit of a conflict in my mind. So I felt like I needed to just live this peaceful life. But the person that taught me, who obviously lived this peaceful life, chose to go out and try and tell other people about it. So I went out in my own life and tried to show the people, and obviously nothing works, apparently. I don't know. This is sort of the mystery to me, why people don't see this truth to their own life. I sort of went, maybe we need to grow into accepting it. So we need time to fall on our face, to be disillusioned with our ego. We need time to get ourselves in the deepest dumps to naturally find the truth to our life. Luckily, something happened that completely changed the way that I saw it. So I went out in my own life. I sort of I would mention Krishnamurti. I would always point to him as my source. I would always say, hey, I used to feel like that. Then I listened to Krishnamurti, this and this. So when something bad happens, I was actually not happy but excited because I knew that this is life giving you the opportunity to see the truth. You see it a bit differently because every human that I walk by lives in reality, but every human being is denying their own reality because they have their ego that's denying their reality. So something happens, they add something to the story, or they make it about themselves. They don't see life as it is. As far as I could see, everything Krishnamurti did was perfect. So I said, okay, this is already here. Everybody else can do exactly what I did. I said my piece on YouTube. I told everybody, this is how you do it. This is what it is. And it feels slightly weird to try and tell people about this, because as we go through these upsets and the struggles, like your father dies, the love of your life just broke up with you, your best friend just stole from you, and sometimes we are faced with these super unfair situations where people just do something completely aggressive and violent and really bring you down. And there's always a moment in time whenever something bad like that happens, like a breakup, like whatever, there's always a point in time where people sort of go like, whoa, I don't know what to believe anymore. We're sort of a bit lost. We're a bit numb. We're a bit, and we're sort of floating, but in a negative way. So as far as I can see it, this is the perfect time for you to find the truth in your life. This feeling of floating, of not believing anything, the feeling of being lost, the feeling of not belonging. When we have the ego, when we're still living with the ego, that feeling is horrible. It's scary. We have all the obscured fear, all the fears that we're hiding. They're like the threatening part of this emptiness. Once you free yourself from the ego, it's actually sort of the same, like you still believe in nothing, you're still floating. But the thing is, you're not lost. You feel lost because you don't know what to believe, and your ego is built on ideas. So that makes you feel lost. When you're free from the ego, you've arrived. So there's no more drama, there's no more stress, there's no more trying to become anything. So that's why I say, like, if you've experienced this before, then you know what it's like. You know you can do it. Everybody can do it. That's the whole point. So it seems super weird for me to go to people and say, hey, everything you're searching for, everything you're trying to accomplish, every method you're trying to be happy, it doesn't work. This is the only thing that works. It seems weird when I know you can find it yourself. It's arrogant. It's like I'm trying to help you, but it's actually super aggressive. But then I realized that all I did in my everyday life was try and find moments where I can learn about them and try and help them see the truth in their own life. So if I'm already doing this all the time, it's not really fair that only the people I know can hear what I'm saying to them. So like it's not fair that there's so many people out there in this world looking for these answers, and I'm not talking about it publicly because I like peace. No, because I feel it's too aggressive. So that's why I keep talking about the gurus. If the world were without the gurus, you'd be finding it for yourself. Unfortunately, it's not just the gurus. It's also society, our family, our culture, our religion. We are expected to be a certain way based on whatever idea you're dragging on. So for me, it wasn't gurus because I didn't find Krishnamurti on a spiritual search, but the ideas that I had in my life that were blinding me to the truth were, for instance, I thought it's a real thing to find someone that will save you, and finding the perfect partner, that needed to go. It's just an idea. So as soon as I understood that romance was invented by French poets, it helped me understand that this is just an idea that's very, very prevalent through all movies, music, whatever. Didn't really have a religion. I think my staunch atheism was a belief that I needed to drop. Also, like the conventional heteronormative idea of family. So a man marries a wife and they become happy and make children. That's an idea that needed to be dropped as well. So there's so many ideas that are prevalent in our society, in our culture, in our minds. And they're all rooted in your ego. It's all something that you accumulate over time. I just now feel like, okay, if everybody in this world is talking all this crap, there needs to be at least one person that's telling you this truth, straightforward and simple. The truth is exactly the same as Krishnamurti speaking of. I'm using him as the source, so I can always point to him because he's like helping me beyond the grave. He's like backing me up. I'm forever grateful for what he's doing. This is exactly the point. So me as a person, I'd much rather sit in my room and do little drawings to get peace. I'd rather not be out there talking about the deepest, most private things in my life. To be perfectly honest with you, like half of my mind went, I'm trying very hard to try and show you this, but there's some very heavy resistance to this. So people think you're crazy. People get very aggressive. Like it's not really a very thankful job. I said what I thought may help you understand Krishnamurti. There's not much I can do to convince you that you're actually brainwashed by your own mind. There's nothing I can do to help you see it. You need to see it for yourself. But I felt guilty because Krishnamurti spent every waking moment of his life trying to make people understand. He helped me understand, and I'm just out there enjoying my freedom. Like, it's not really fair to him nor to you. So I thought that I was taking a holiday, but not at all, because I was actually learning a lot of things. I was growing and growing and growing. What happened was, as soon as I worked out that apparently nobody seems to understand what Krishnamurti is talking about, I sort of freaked out. Because then I went like, whoa. Quite a few people have commented on like, oh, I'm happy you're taking Krishnamurti's role. And I was just like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not taking on that role. I'm just a normal human being that happened to understand this. I'm still not taking on any role. Christmas came by, and like I sort of found myself imagining how many people out there in this world are feeling lonely and sad and they're suffering. And suddenly, as soon as I imagined that, I felt this massive wave of guilt. And all that I said was, what the hell are you doing? You've actually found something in your real life that has helped you significantly, like almost like a magic pill. But I actually had to face my own life, look at it, and die to myself. And it wasn't that hard. Now, I'm not looking at what Krishnamurti did. I'm not looking at what I'm trying to show you. I'm just trying to tell you, hey, I was super unhappy. I was super depressed. I was suicidal, anxious, everything. I found Krishnamurti. And as soon as I faced my own life, I became super happy. So now, as soon as I realized, I'm not talking about enlightenment. I'm just trying to tell you that I've actually found something in my real life that made me happy. That's all. That's all I'm doing. And I'm not trying to save the whole world. I'm not trying to make world peace. I'm trying to connect with you, one person at a time. The only way that anybody ever helped me in my real life with my depression, my anxiety, were rappers. So them sharing their life and their falls really made a difference in my life. So I felt, okay, if they shared their life, then that's what I should do as well. That's the only thing that's helped me in my life. Hopefully this will help you in your life. But you don't need me. You don't need Krishnamurti. You can find the truth to your life yourself. It's all about stopping the running, stopping the hiding from our own past, the pretending to be something we're not, and ending it. And by ending it, you set yourself free. Nobody else can set you free. Only you can set yourself free. And that's the magic, the beautiful thing about it. And also the reason why there is no how to. I can't tell you how to stop running from your fears. All I can do is tell you that I stopped. I stopped running. I faced myself. As soon as I did that, my life changed so significantly. And this freedom is what I'm trying to tell you about. And all you have to do is look at your life, realize your ego is just an idea, and end it. If I looked at what Krishnamurti was doing, I sort of went like, oh, you might be doing this your whole life, and nobody will ever understand. And the best thing about this mind state is that you don't actually care. You don't care about anything. You know what's right. You can see with clarity. And I can see with clarity now that I've admitted it, that it doesn't matter if nobody understands. It doesn't matter if everybody thinks I'm crazy. It completely doesn't make any difference to me, because it doesn't matter how you respond. It doesn't really matter what happens. I just figured I'm just gonna experiment and try things and try and communicate with you as much as possible. And luckily it's all documented, so it's gonna be there. That's why I'm publishing it on all the platforms, so that the likelihood that even if it's 100 years from now, hopefully somebody finds this in completely the same broken down state. That's why I keep talking about it. I'm trying to connect with you if you're just experiencing this existential crisis. Obviously, like I have no idea what's gonna work, but I'm just gonna swing at it and swing at it and swing at it and try different things. The most important thing that I understood was I was trying to come up with an idea. I was trying to understand from like a secret, hidden, covert mission. Now, what you need to understand is this is all about humility. So me trying to see the whole world or save the whole world from my secret, covert position was impossible. Because how am I supposed to know what you need? That's why I'm trying to speak to you directly, interact with you, communicate with you directly. And you are 50% of this mission. So I can say the same thing all my life, but as soon as I'm communicating with you, what I'm saying will change. That's like the most important thing that I learned teaching classrooms full of kids. It seemed very oppressive to make them learn what I think they should learn. I used to go into a classroom and start talking to them to find out where there's some sort of issues that we can then work on that. It completely changed the way that I taught, and it completely changed the lesson. So this is what I'm trying to do with this peace project. This peace project is going to grow with you. The only thing I can think of doing is try and talk about it as much as possible. And I've changed my approach. I'm giving you more of a reaction than anything like planned out or thought out, because I want to give you a moment in time and as much as possible. But it's going to grow with your questions. It's going to grow with your response, because this is not about me at all. I need to do anything that I can possibly do in this lifetime to try and help you see the same and enjoy your life in the same freedom. Freedom from yourself, freedom from ideas, freedom from your mind constantly thinking and overanalyzing and belittling and all of that. So let's talk about this. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for your patience. And I'll talk to you soon. One love.